The supernatural and invisible world is a topic that has fascinated people over the centuries, regardless of culture and religion. Many people will say that seeing is believing, and will say that the invisible world is imaginary and science fiction. But the human eye has limitations. There are so many things that no one will deny exist, but that we cannot perceive. For example, radio waves, electromagnetic spectrum, infrared light and ultraviolet. These are things that the eyes of some animals can see, but which are invisible to us. Jinn, demon, evil spirit, but they have many other names. We can find these beings mentioned in religions around the world. In Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, but also in many other religions that are extinct or still exist. Muslims call them jinn. The word jinn comes from the Arabic verb jannah, which means to hide or conceal. They are invisible to humans because our eyes cannot perceive them. That's why a lot of people think they don't exist. But the hadiths tell us that some animals can see them. Indeed, all of those who have already owned pets such as dog or cat must have seen them staring at the wall or a ceiling for a long period of time, as if some intriguing thing was going on there, or seeing them bark at something that we can't see. So, what are the jinns, and what are they made of? Allah gives us this answer through the Quran. And we did certainly create man out of clay from unaltered black mud, while we had brought the jinn into being before out of blazing fire. So we know that the jinns were on earth before the mankind, and they were created for the same purpose as humans, as Allah tells us in this verse. And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. Jinns and humans can be Muslim or not. So they have free will like all of us, and can choose to do good or evil. Not all jinn are evil, and they are not to be feared. Because we know that we should only fear Allah. We know that we cannot avoid what God has intended for us. And no good can happen to us if God did not want it. We know from the Quran that some jinns will be Muslims, but according to the hadith, it seems that this will be a small part of them. Rebellious jinns are those who follow the shaitan, and we call them shayatins. Satan himself is a rebellious jinn, who is dedicated to lead mankind away from the way of God. And we know that some jinns became Muslims in the time of the Prophet, after witnessing the recitation of the Quran and believing what they heard. This is narrated in the first two verses of Surah the Jinn. Say, O Prophet, it was revealed to me that a band of jinn attentively listened to the recitation of the Koran, and then went back to their people and said, "We have indeed heard a wonderful Koran, which guides to the right way. So we have come to believe in it, and we will not associate anyone with our Lord in his divinity." About it, jinns are similar to us in many ways. They feed and drink, reproduce, and have offspring. They die, but they live much longer than us. And they will also be judged by God on the judgment day. They will be there with us, and some will be sent to heaven, and some in hell. Some people wonder how jinns who are made of fire could fear hell. And why could this be a punishment for them? But it's important to know that the fire temperature can vary from 100 to 1000 or even million degrees. So, if we compare with humans, we are made of clay, and most of our body weight is water. We can be seriously hurt by objects made of clay, and when we are in water, we feel out of our element and we can die in it. So, the jinns must also fear hell. But one of the main differences between jinn and human is that God has granted them abilities that humans do not have. One of the abilities that God has granted to the jinn is that they can change their appearance and appear to us in many forms. They can also possess the mind and body of another creature. But it's something that God forbade them. And possessions terrify and fascinate humans, both atheists and believers. But real knowledge about this fact is rare. Many movies have been made on this topic. But these horror and scary movies do not reflect what it really is, because the movie industry is influenced by Christianity. We can see scenes where demons or shayateens are scared by a cross. And it may seem funny to us. But faith in God is indeed the best medicine against these rebellious jinns. And the Prophet also told us that reciting the Quran in our homes is a great benefit. Mainly Surat al-Baqarah, and especially the verse of the throne, Ayat al-Kursi. These jinns have the sole purpose of misleading humans by making us move away from religion. It can be by associating someone or something with God, worship false deities, by inciting us to do things that God has forbidden us, hurting others or ourselves. Humans of all ages have been confronted with these beings, even the prophets. And the only way to protect yourself is faith in God and in destiny, and the recitation of the Quran. We all have to face trials, and it is very likely that the jinns will be part of these trials. May Allah guide us and ease our trials.